Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to your doom. Welcome to my page, which I talk about common sense, but I try to keep it down under the nitty-gritty under 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, that means there's something very, very, very important. And not important to liberals, libertards, people who believe in God, people like to smoke, people that drink, people like ayahuasca, people like DMT. Listener's discretion is advised. If you're a religious person, you should watch my videos. You smoke cigarettes, you drink alcohol, you focus more on everyday things, you're a square in the box thinker, you're an NPC, you can't think outside the box, just you fit in with the typical person. How you like my hat here? I just got it in the mail, okay? Please don't watch my videos. Get out of here, please. I'm a very eccentric person, okay? I don't have time for trolls, but I know I get trolls. Well, look at this. I try to look like a troll. Look. I'm an imp. But anyway, how you like my hat? I don't wear it that much, though. I got a couple different hats. But anyway, this video is going to be about how to stop an abusive relationship and the psychosis of a woman's mind before it gets there. Okay? Come to find out that women play victim all of the time. They're terrible communicators. I do not hate women. I'm just saying this is a fact now. In most relationships, women will not communicate what they want because they don't know what they want. They haven't been taught on what they need. They're basically not going to tell you. But what I found out, what I also saw on the internet, I want to talk about this before I forget, okay? Before I just go play basketball and stuff and start practice my hook shots and shit and go shopping, okay? I want you guys to understand something. When you're in a relationship with any woman, there will always be in the back of their head that they're being abused. They can use that as a tool. They will never communicate this information to you. My ex, when I was talking to her, eventually she was telling me how she was being abused, but she never really told me how she was being abused. I never laid my hands on her, but to me, it's like this, you know. I see a woman as like a child, okay? And 9 times out of 10, if that woman is not trained by a father figure, if you have any comments, questions, insults, or roast fest, you put it down below, all right? Then she needs to be disciplined. You know, the father's not around. Most people in general have not had strong father figures simply because of the welfare system, and you already know the welfare queens and everything else. There is a problem that women have when they don't know how to communicate effectively, so they'll hold it in, and no matter how effective you are in communicating, because I always study psychology, I try to understand what the problem is and nip it in the bud. You know what I'm saying? We guys are logical. We don't have miscommunication problems. We only need a few things in a relationship, and that's for the beta average male, okay? The average male, you only need sex, food, and a little bit of comfort. That's all they really need, because they actually know how to love. We already know this, okay? The problem is that when I found out what my ex said to me, I was like, I never did those things, okay? So it's confusing. You know how you have someone saying they're abused, but I say, how did I abuse it? What did I do? Okay, there was a few times I had to pop her in the head, which is not abuse, but it's just a lesson to be taught. Like when a woman smacks a man, they don't call that abuse. They call that emotional distress or something. Like, that's just the woman, okay? But of course, it's still assault in the eyes of a law. Well, I don't know about that shit. Okay, I use psychology all the time. Sometimes a person can remember things with a little, like, tap on their head. You have to discipline your women and children. I see women like children. I see them like that all the time. If I ever see a woman who's mature, I met a few women who was very mature, I can never put my hands on her. But if you emotionally try to destroy me in some way, or disrespect me, or lie, I might have to get on your hide for that, because I'm a real alpha male. Before you use your hand with any children, okay? The children are like women, okay? We real men know this. Children are like women. They don't particularly communicate effectively. And when I see my daughters or my children act a certain way, and you told them the hand is the secondary thing, basically the steps goes like this. Communication is first. This is very important. The second thing is psychology. So taking something away, right? You take something away, right? And that's the second thing. That's the appropriate thing to do to punish people. You take something away, okay? Now, I know there'll be some women say, oh, you're controlling and you're dominating, but that's not the case. Women hit men all the time and they don't hit back, but you will get hit back by an alpha. You will get hit. You'll get your head knocked in, okay? Because you're supposed to keep your hands to yourself. Your father's supposed to teach you that shit. Okay, your father's supposed to teach you that shit. Keep your hands to yourself. Because you need to know how to communicate effectively before you get laid hands on or you lay hands on someone. You have to know how to communicate. And usually it's the bitch-ass dude. It'll be two dudes arguing with one another because someone doesn't know how to communicate effectively or someone's fucking hurt in their feelings and shit. And that's sad because then they start fighting because they're women, okay? But first of all, you have to either speak about it, express yourself, take something away, especially with your children or your wives, okay? And then the last resort is the hand. It's usually not something abusive. Now, abuse to me is usually when you leave a bruise or you punch a female or some shit like that. That is very bad. You should never do that. You should never have rage when you swing. But when I popped my wife a few times, it was because of sheer disrespect. It was like out of the blue. And now, first I would say, hey, why did you say that? I said, don't say that again. You know, you have to say that kindly and nicely because that's a form of disrespect, you know, right? You know when you have someone lying and saying something that's not true or their perspective is skewed in some way, you have to correct them. You have to correct them. You be like, hey, I never did that to you. Because sometimes people will make up things to try to have an excuse for their own behavior. Of course, women do this all the time. They're narcissistic in that way. Most women. I'm saying most. I'm not saying all women, okay? But particularly factually, you're going to have women who basically will not be accountable for their actions. This is obviously obvious for most guys. They know that, okay? You have to say, hey, you know you were wrong when I told you to do something, right? I asked you to do something. I didn't force you to do it. But you know how we don't live in slavery times. And the corrupted minds of a woman, the modern day woman, thinks a slave exists. They don't exist now. You have a right to leave. You have the right to do three things. Communicate effectively, take something away psychologically, and then finally, if you don't love someone, you don't whack them. You don't whack them. You don't give them any lesson, no hard lesson. And that's a problem for a lot of guys out there. You have the right to discipline your child reasonably and respectfully, but you should also have the right to also discipline your wives. It's in the Bible. You are allowed to discipline your wives, even in the Quran. Okay, so you know we have a right to do this. If you're a real man, okay, you know there's no such thing as you going to step over my heart and you going to try to swing at me or try to defend yourself when you're trying to attack me, because that doesn't usually happen. A man usually doesn't strike this out of the blue. He just does not do that. That does not happen. There has to be something that was done, okay? And this is where the woman fails at communication skills when it comes to relationships. So when a man defends himself, they'll still think that they're being abused. They don't understand what they're doing. So the best thing to do, especially if you're doing what I'm doing, you keep them overseas. Because I brought my first ex-wife over here, and everybody told me, hey, don't bring her back because she's wearing a mask. And I guess she was right. You were right. So now it is best to leave them over there and don't worry about abuse over there, because it's not going to happen. They're not going to be cheating around with all them broke motherfuckers out there, okay? Because it's all about money. Everything is about money. I know that. There'll be women trying to hit me and say, you know, everything is about money. No one knows how to love. It's a transactional love. If a man will get no play unless he's highly attractive, especially if he ain't got no money. He's not getting any play. Okay, that's just common sense. If he's Drake or fucking Cisco, because I know you guys don't know who Cisco is, or he's a Usher or something, or a Chris Brown, then the girls drop all of the guards because they were corrupted. But that's all I really wanted to say. You know, keep them 304s over them. Keep the women and children over there. Do not bring them into America, guys. Just don't do that. You know, don't be whoring around, being a whoremonger, sleeping with random women for payments because you can't pay for a prostitute here in America, because that's all it is. You're trying to get your dick wet. Okay, because I know most of you guys don't care about a woman's sexual background history, but women are psychologically abused when they have been with multiple dicks, mileage and shit, right? You want to call it. And I try to teach you guys this before it's too late. But anyway, you like that hat, or do you like this hat? Because it's raining outside. I'm gonna still try to play. Play my basketball out here. Okay. Yep. See, you like it? Messing on my beanie. My little beanie, me beanie. Anyway. Other than that, that's all I really gotta say, guys, because I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. Please, no matter how well you effectively communicate with women or children, they can betray you. All right? They will withhold their own true feelings. They will not tell you everything, and they will feel themselves as a victim. And then the moment they talk to someone else, they come to their defense. Like, what you doing to this woman? You brought her over here and doing what? And then when you tell them the truth, they think you breaking the law. They call you a sexual exploiter or a trafficker, because it's typically a woman hating on your ass who's ugly as fuck. Okay, always remember that when the woman is like not attracted to you, no matter who she is, she gonna be hating on you. So y'all gotta be careful with that shit. Guys don't do that fairy tale shit, that little faggot shit. Okay, they don't do that shit, but they do it all the time. You gotta watch out for male effeminate and beta male trolls. They're out there. Predominantly lighter skin colored guys. Okay, you know, you can't talk to a guy who's darker skinned and he's not gonna be in his emotion if he don't live in the hood. A guy who's living in the hood is very emotional. You just look at him wrong or some shit, and then he's ghetto as fuck. He say, "What you looking at?" You see, a white guy would be too afraid, but he's sneaky and secretive, and he'll snitch on your ass faster than white on rice, right? So you better be careful who you're talking to, because if you're the real McCoy, either they respect you or they don't. All right? Understand that everybody's abused in some other way. Some way or another, they are mentally abused. And they are not going to be effective communicators at knowing how to express themselves. So to nip it in the bud with women in general, okay, because men don't do this. Men in relationships don't do this. Unless that guy's an effeminate beta alpha male cuck, okay? Pookie or Ray Ray cuck. Because I met a few of those guys too, and they just like women. I'm like, dude, you gotta know how to control your emotions, dude. No. Anyway, that's all I really gotta say. Y'all have a nice day. Peace.